All right, it's another day in the Bikini Bee headquarters. So, I'm gonna get started on this Cruella. I like to say Cruella, but it's Cruel Ella. Cruella. I can't say it. Or like Crayola crown, but anyway, here's my cute little design. I will post a cute little screenshot of my inspiration. And this was my inspiration. I do not, and I am not going to do the little puffy sleeves, which I loved, but I absolutely hate sewing with fur. I hate cutting fur. It like literally goes everywhere, and I don't want fur in my sewing machines. Not gonna happen, not gonna happen. So I decided to get a cloak, like a jacket, but like a vest without arms. And that is pretty freaking epic. And right now, this is like my biggest task, and I got to finish it before Wednesday. Today is Monday. So Wednesday I have a photo shoot, and we're gonna go up into the hills and get like spooky with my spooky nails. This one I'm gonna do kind of cute and fun. And then I have the nun outfit that I'm gonna add some blood to and get a little bit weird and creepy. So I can have like two Halloween styles. But yeah, I'm gonna use a one-piece pattern for this. Here's my one-piece pattern here. I'm on portrait, so it's kind of blurry when I'm not focusing. The one-piece pattern, I'm going to do it the way I like to do it. I'm just going to cut the one piece, and then I'm going to go back and cut out my cutout spots instead of remaking a pattern that has the cutout spots, if that makes sense, because for when I don't want to remake a pattern and I have plenty of fabric to play around with. So let's get to it. I love this fabric. I believe I got it for, I want to say under $12 a yard. And I ended up getting 2 yards. Same with the black. Here I'm adding another pattern, which is a top of another pattern, so I can make a high collared neck on the top of this swimsuit. So I just laid it on top, matched up the arm, I guess the shoulder seams, and made it where it's more like a turtleneck. You guys will see. And so I'm just going to recreate this on the black, cut the pattern, and this is the front. The front piece is going to have a black and white piece, and then in the middle is where I'm going to add my cutout, which is going to be power mesh. Here I'm just finding the center. I'm just going to trace. I did revise this a few times. There wasn't one particular look. I didn't want it to look like a lightning bolt or a like weird, I don't know, it kind of turned out like that. I don't understand what it kind of was supposed to look like. Kind of like a flame is what it looks like, but I didn't know what I wanted it supposed to look like. Maybe it's supposed to look like fur, like chunks of fur down the front. I'm not sure. Either way, I decided and was confused at which power mesh I was going to use, so I had to draw out a pattern and see what color. So since one side is white, one side is black, I decided to go with the red power mesh down the middle. The black I had was a really thick power mesh, and so it wasn't as see-through as I wanted it to be. And the white was just too white. It didn't match my white pleather, which was kind of a pearl off-white. So I drew it out here and then kind of added colors so I could get more of a visual of what I wanted. I also didn't take into account that power mesh is stretchy, which obviously I know it's stretchy, but not having done this particular design before, I should have made this red piece
a lot smaller in width because once it's put on my body, it's stretched out so much. I have it all pinned on, and this is how it's gonna look. I'm going to go ahead and top stitch the underside of this, and I'm gonna go very slow. It's just a single straight stitch all the way around without pulling or stretching it, so it can lie as flat as possible. And then I'm going to carefully cut the pleather.
So I just stitched up the white. It's kind of hard to see. So I just did that for the thread. So the thread is white on the white pleather. So you can kind of see here. And then this is where I'm going to go and cut inside the stitches. I'm going to cut out that pleather, and it will then reveal the red mesh. But I have to now go back and do the black. In order to do that, I have to change out my thread because I don't want the white thread on the black pleather. I want this to be very seamless, and I want it to look amazing. Okay, I'm adding the black. I was gonna say, I know I get some people that'll ask, how do I work with my nails? Besides the one I slammed and broke in the closet door yesterday. But they actually help me. They're like tools, and as a nail tech, I can vouch for the fact we say their nails are jewels, not tools, but their tools for sewing are so beneficial. They're like tweezers. For instance, I'm trying to get this bobbin to come up, and they're like tweezers. I also hold the fabric into the footer, and it won't get my finger. It will get my nail before it gets my finger. So I definitely use them to my advantage, and yeah, they're beneficial. So we got the black thread in. Let's get this where I left off right down here. You can see I crossed over from the white thread, so you can see the white now on the black. Not crazy about that, but we're gonna cross it over. I could always go back and unstitch that. So lock it in, and here we go. All right, so I finished the black and the white. I meticulously sewed this mesh on the wrong side on purpose, so I can then very meticulously cut out this pleather. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove the needles. I think there was only one spot right down here at the crotch. I had to trim it because it was going off the edge. The reason is because the mesh I'm using is a spandex 4-way stretch, so it's a power mesh. And as I'm stitching along, I'm holding it pretty tight. I'm not stretching it, but I'm holding it pretty tight. So when you do that, you are gonna get a little bit of that stretch. And so I just went and trimmed it as I was working on it. And because this is not for a customer, or it's not a design that I mass produce, it's completely fine because it's my own design. So that looks much better. The problem with the pleather is, like, once you make a hole in it, it kind of punctures holes in it. You kind of have like one chance. I was noticing that with the needles too. You can see where I had, look at that, the needles in the fabric. So I'm hoping once I wear it, maybe that'll go away, but just keep in mind, I did not think about that. And I'm gonna go in here with my hand scissors without cutting the stitch and without cutting the power mesh. Now that's gonna be the hardest part, is not cutting the power mesh. So once I get a little hole started, make sure every snip does not involve power mesh. Oh, we're good. Oh, I just lost it. So I'm just gonna fill with my fingers real quick. I can feel it not going through. So here's power mesh. So I'm gonna go ahead and trim around the whole entire thing.
All right, I did such a good job. I did not cut the power mesh. I thought I would at some point. So now I'm going to make the back. Basically, I'm just using black, and then because it has a high collar on the neck of this bodysuit, I have to add a zipper. So I'm using the same top pattern connected, and then I shortened that neckline so it would be a little bit taller. I cut cheekier butt so I can have more of a thong. And then I cut in the hips a little bit because I know I have a booty.
All right, so because I'm gonna do a higher neck, I'm gonna add a zipper to get the suit on. Now my zipper's not really that long, so if you were to look at the width that this would open, I still don't know if my ass is gonna fit in it. So I could do one of two things. I can make the neck a little bit lower and do like a faux, I'll do the neck one in the front. It could be open in the back, or I can make a separate neck, like a choker collar, but then there'll be skin gap in between. So I gotta think about it. All right, so I'm ready to close the suit up. Take the front, take the back, put them together. So what I didn't put on camera was this zipper closure right here that I created. I piped the neckline with a serge, and then I added the zipper. And zippers are kind of tricky, so I didn't film that to waste my film to make this video any longer. So I did add this red zipper. Now I am still unsure if it's gonna be enough opening for my butt when it's unzipped. I'm hoping that there's enough room for my ass to fit through. All right, so there's a little bit of a malfunction. It did not fit with the zipper, so I'm gonna have to, I cut the crotch, and whoa, I'm gonna have to make it snap in the crotch. Snap it on and off because I'm not redesigning the back. However, I will have to redesign this top because this just doesn't fit right here. I think the back looks great for what I obviously have right now because I don't have the snaps. Let's see, in the crotch, let's see if I can shove it. Okay. For what it is right now, it's a lot bigger than the original, like tiny, because it stretches, obviously. So it stretched with me, and the only downside is it stretched so much on the boobs. So I have to figure that out. This will be easy to take in right here. And other than that, I'm pretty excited about it. I like the look. I just have to figure out the nipples because I can't just have them out at all times. And the back, figure out how to get it zipped up. Somebody will have to help me. So this is it for now. I am going to fix the rest. I don't think I'm going to turn over the seam. I was going to turn over the seam and do like a stitch, but I'm going to be wearing my jacket, and I just don't think it's needed for what I'm using it for. This turned out super cool. and wait for part 2. Part 2 will have the photo shoot that I'm doing, and I will take you guys along for the photo shoot in part 2, and then maybe some Halloween stuff. But Cruella de Vil.